And Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Each member is acknowledging that they are attending the meeting via Zoom and that they are located in Wayne County, Michigan, unless otherwise stated when I call your name. Commissioner Killeen,
Right here.
Commissioner Daub,
Here.
Commissioner Clark-Coleman,
Here.
Commissioner Knizek,
Here.
Chair Basham.
Here.
You have a quorum present.
Next item.
B, Chair's remarks.
I really don't have any that's worth noting. So, next item.
C, approval of the March 10th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Colleen moves the approval, Mr. Chair.
Is there support?
I'll support Daub.
Dobb supports. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Next item, Madam Clerk.
D, unfinished business. There is none listed.
Okay.
Item E1, under new business, communication from Legislative Auditor General forwarding a copy of the Office of Legislative Auditor General's corrective action plan and Auditor General's assessment for the Wayne County Department of Information Technology Telecommunication Services Performance Audit Report.
I'd like to welcome the Auditor General, her staff, and her guests. Welcome, Ms. Cora, and please proceed.
Okay, you can see it on the screen, correct?
Yep.
Marcy Cora, Auditor General, and if I could have staff introduce themselves, and then we'll have the auditee from Department of Information Technology introduce themselves.
Mike Cisnowski, Audit Manager.
Crystal Thomas, Supervisory Auditor.
And I believe we have Carlos Perez on from DOIT, if you could introduce himself.
Carlos Perez, Chief Information Officer, and I believe Stacy Johnson is on the call as well.
Perfect. What you have before you today, this is a corrective action plan and the OAG's assessment of that corrective action plan. This is from the DOIT Telecommunications Performance Audit Report. It was dated October 7, 2016. This report was received by the Commission in December 2018. There was a time delay from the time the report was dated and to the time it was presented at the Commission, and I'll give you a little history to explain that. This is the engagement that while we were performing our procedures, we came across what we thought may have been misappropriation of cell phones. And again, this was under the former DOIT leadership. And at that time, our office immediately contacted the prosecuting attorney's office. We met with the prosecuting attorney's office and they requested our office to perform additional procedures to determine if the cell phones were indeed misappropriated and to the extent of the misappropriation. Once our procedures were done, we turned over everything we had from our analysis to the prosecuting attorney's office. They continued their investigation. It was a quite lengthy investigation. I believe they had total cooperation from DOIT, and the individual that was responsible for the theft was charged and a plea deal was made. So this is a corrective action plan to that performance engagement. Just I wanted to know too, there are a few recommendations, and if you looked at the corrective action plan, it indicated that DOIT did not agree with our recommendation, but I believe what they did is they agreed with the intent. So what they did is they implemented other action that addressed the recommendation. We assessed that other action and we agreed that it did satisfy the intent of the recommendation. So, you know, there may be times where we have a recommendation and DOT may have, or the auditee may have another way that they believe they can implement corrective action. It may not be what we intended, but as long as it satisfies the recommendation, we'll agree that it's implemented. So now I'll turn it over to Crystal Thomas and she'll go through the corrective action plan and assessment.
Good morning, everyone. Our initial performance report had 18 recommendations. During the completion of the correction action plan, we assessed all 18 recommendations and noted that 16 recommendations have been addressed and 2 of the recommendations are currently in process. 2015-01A, develop a procedure over the ordering, receiving, and maintenance of inventory. The status of this is currently in process. We confirmed with IT management that there is a process in place that segregates the duties for ordering, receiving, and deploying of cellular devices. IT management also indicated that they are in the process of drafting policies and procedures to formalize the procedures. If the plan action is implemented as described, the action appears to address the recommendation. However, a follow-up review may be necessary.
If I could add on to this one, this is a recommendation when we initially found the misappropriation, what we believe to be the misappropriation of the cell phones, when we brought it to the attention of the administration, they immediately put a segregation of duties in so that the same person wasn't ordering, receiving, and maintaining the inventory of cell phones, which was what was happening that allowed the cell phones to be stolen. You can continue, Crystal.
Okay, and management states that this recommendation will be implemented, the policies and procedures will be completed and implemented in April 2021. 2015-1B, maintain a comprehensive inventory of all cellular devices. The status of this has been implemented. We were provided a list that IT receives from the vendor that lists the current cellular devices inventory. We also confirmed with IT management that the vendor updates the listing with all additions and deletions of cellular devices. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has adequately addressed the recommendation. 2015-1C, perform a periodic inventory of county devices. This has also been implemented. IT management indicated that in lieu of a physical inventory, they check devices against the active network accounts. They also indicate they utilize the mobile device platform to ensure county-issued devices are active. While the procedure may not include a physical inventory, we believe the electronic verification of active devices will satisfy the intent of the recommendation. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has adequately addressed the recommendation.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Dobb.
can I ask how often does that electronic verification take place?
It's supposed to be done quarterly. This is Carlos.
Quarterly? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then is there a report, and who does that report go to?
The report generally goes to Hector Roman, who's the Director of Infrastructure. So he's over the telecom group. If there's an anomaly, they'll send it to me and we'll address it. There's actually one other point I wanted to bring up, and I guess I didn't write it down here, and I apologize for that. We've done something to the cell phones so that if you did try to sell the cell phone, when they tried to put it on a different plan, it would actually show up as a Wayne County phone. We actually did have that issue happen once this year. Someone tried to sell a Wayne County cell phone, and the person who bought it turned it in and turned in that person. So it's disabled the value of taking these cell phones and trying to sell them somewhere else.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Okay, continuing 2015-02A, develop and issue a comprehensive telephone policy. IT management provided the OAG with a copy of policy entitled Personal Mobile Device and Use Policy. This policy defines the requirements of the mobile device, restrictions on the use of the mobile device within the Wayne County environment, and the necessary approvals to obtain access using a mobile device. The policy appears to address the concerns identified in our recommendation. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has adequately addressed the recommendation. 2015-2B, periodically review all telecommunication policies and procedures. The status of this recommendation has been implemented. IT management stated they have developed a policy review committee that will ensure changes in technology trend or processes are reflected in the county's policies and procedures. The committee is comprised of the team lead of network security, the team lead of the requested policy area, and the chief information officer for approval. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the committee met quarterly. Meetings are now scheduled as needed to review existing policies and procedures or to create new policies and procedures. Based on a limited review of action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation. 2015-03, Department of Information Technology Network Security comply with internal policy. The status has been implemented. IT management stated that the airwatch system is the portal that allows authorized IT staff to view a dashboard of enrolled devices. IT is able to monitor devices to determine which devices that are not in compliance with minimum security standards and take necessary action. Based on a limited review of action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation.
I have a question. What is like the airwatch system? How does that work? Maybe I'm antiquated. when I get to that.
No, it's not a problem. Airwatch isn't something I have hands-on experience with, but it is something I'm pretty familiar with, which is it's an agent that you put on a county-issued cell phone that allows you to manage that cell phone like you would a computer. So if there's a piece of software that a county-issued cell phone needs, we can make sure that that gets installed without having to physically touch the phone. We just put a policy in place and it pushes it down. If we need to disable a phone, we can do it remotely. If we need to, for whatever reason, wipe a county phone because it's in dangerous hands or something like that, we can do that remotely. But it's for county phones.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Right. Continuing to 2015-04A, develop a retention policy that includes IT service request forms. The status of this recommendation has been implemented. IT management stated we confirm that the paper service request forms and access change request forms are no longer utilized. All IT service requests are only accepted digitally and are maintained indefinitely. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation. 2015-04B, maintain a cellular telephone agreement form. The status of this recommendation is currently in process. A paper copy of the cellular telephone agreement form is no longer maintained. Each employee must now electronically agree to the terms of use during the initial setup of the phone. If an employee does not accept the terms and conditions within 2 days, they are blocked from service. In addition, we confirmed IT management is in the process of drafting an acceptable use policy for county issued phones and provide to employees when they pick up their cellular device. If the plan action is implemented as described, the action appears to address the recommendation. However, a follow-up review may be necessary. 2015-05, document and implement billing reconciliation procedures. The status of this recommendation has been implemented. During our review, we confirmed IT has a monthly process in place to review mobility bills. IT forwards bills to IT finance group, CIO, telecom staff, and MMB for review. IT reviews the corrects any issues before responding back to MMB. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation. 2015-06, periodically perform a detailed review of individual cell phone usage. The status of this recommendation has been implemented. After issuance of our report, IT management changed cellular plans. The new plan includes unlimited minutes for all cellular users. We confirmed the 3 new plans have unlimited minutes. The contracts were submitted to the commission in February for approval. As a result, IT would no longer need to perform a detailed review to determine if individuals are over their allotted minutes. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation. 2015-07, implement procedures to ensure international travel packages contain an automatic cancellation date. this recommendation has been implemented. DOT management stated there is a process in place to have all international travel packages removed automatically from the AT&T system within 30 days. As an additional step, IT management will develop a formal procedure to document the process. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation.
Can I jump in on that for a quick second? Going back, can you like explain the first, like the FirstNet Public Safety Mobility Network? I mean, again, trying to understand that is a little bit complicating too, but can somebody?
Well, I believe what the idea behind FirstNet is that in situations where the cellular network is jam-packed, let's say there's a stadium event or there's an emergency or something where the cellular network would actually be compromised, our cell phones actually take priority. It's
pretty nice.
something that we get to tie into because of being a government institution.
Wow, thank you. That helps.
Okay,
Yes,
moving right on.
Right.
2018-08A, ensure all future audit services include a final report deliverable and forward a copy to the OAG. The status of this recommendation has been implemented. IT management indicated that procedures will be implemented to ensure all executed contracts for audit or review services will include a deliverable of a final report at the conclusion of the engagement. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation. 2015-08B, all deliverable documents are maintained by IT for reference. This has been implemented as well. IT management indicated that procedures will be implemented to ensure all deliverable documents will be maintained by IT for reference. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation. 2015-09, track the mobile accessories purchased and provided to employees. The status of this recommendation has been implemented. IT management stated that accessories for new lines come at no cost to the county. Replacement accessories are tracked by IT and require an approval process through the service request system. Management also indicated that they cannot place a limit on the number of replacement accessories an employee can order. However, management indicated they will continue to contact an employee supervisor if excessive accessory requests are submitted by the employee. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation. 2015-10A, perform an analysis of county cell phone usage. This has been implemented as well. After issuance of our report, IT management changed cellular plans. The new plan includes unlimited minutes for all cellular users. The contracts were submitted to the commission in February for approval, and as a result, IT would no longer need to perform a detailed review for employees that underutilize their phones. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation. 2015-10B, consider increasing the minute packages for employees who consistently exceed plan minutes. This has been implemented as well. As stated in the above recommendation, the new plan includes unlimited minutes for all the cellular users, and the contract was approved by commission in February. So IT would no longer need to perform a detailed review for employees that exceed their minutes. Based on a limited review of the action taken, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation. 2015-11A, perform an analysis requiring participation in the BYOD program. The status of this recommendation has been implemented. IT management has not performed has not performed an analysis regarding requiring participation in the BYOD program rather than receiving a county-provided cell phone. An employee's department is the authorization source for providing a requested cell phone. However, IT does generate monthly reports for low or no usage devices. These reports are sent to departments with the recommendation for the department to determine if the employee should continue to have a county-provided cell phone.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Dobb.
can you, can someone explain what, or tell us what BYOD stands for?
Oh, sure thing. It's bring your own device.
Okay, that's what I thought it was, but you know, with acronyms, I like to have that spelled out for everyone. And then, are we seeing fewer requests for county cell phones and more people trying to or wanting to participate in the bring your own device program?
So that's a tough question to answer on the fly, but I can give you my anecdotal impression of it. I think this year specifically, COVID-19 kind of flipped everything on its head. So we probably have more cell phones in circulation right now than we ever have, just to manage the pandemic. I think the issue of bring your own device versus a county-issued cell phone is a complex one, and it's for personal reasons at the individual level. Some folks really don't want county touching their personal devices at all, and so in those situations, if the supervisor agrees to it, we'll give them a county cell phone. And then there's other folks who have no problem with it at all and would prefer just to have one cell phone and not two. It's really kind of, at this point, the way we've implemented the policy and the way we're trying to run things, it's really been more of an individual preference than anything else. This body previously brought up, why don't we just give people a stipend to pay for their own cell phone plans? And I think what I just outlined earlier is probably a big chunk of the reason. A lot of folks don't want the county on their device at all in any way, shape, or form. And other folks would take advantage of a stipend if it was possible.
Right. Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, moving right along, 2015-11B, consider implementing policies and procedures outlining who will be provided a county cell phone. This has also been implemented based on a discussion with IT management. They do not have the authorization to determine who is provided a county cell phone. It is the responsibility of the department and elected officials. However, each cell phone request does require a business justification that is approved by the department or elected officials. The justification would determine whether the employee is authorized the cell phone. So based on a limited review of the action taken and the steps IT takes to ensure the justification of the phone is approved, it appears management has taken sufficient action to address the recommendation. This has completed my presentation for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Any questions from commissioners? Anything to be added?
If I could add something,
Yes.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank the DOIT staff, including especially Carlos Perez and Hector Roman, for all their help and cooperation, not only during this corrective action plan, but also the initial engagement, which I know took a lot of time to get the answers that the prosecutor's office needed.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you, Carlos. So can I get a motion to receive and file?
Move to receive and file.
Support. Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
There are none. Next item.
Public comments.
Is there anybody, you could unmute everybody's phone? And if there's anybody that would like to make a public comment?
We do have an emailed comment.
Okay, could you read it?
Let me go to it. This is from 1659 Ask Me. It
Mhm.
says, does the corrective action plan mean that the department that have been waiting to receive computers for them to start to work remotely will now start the distribution of the computers requested a year ago during the COVID-19 pandemic heightened timeline?
Okay, like in public comment, we won't go back and forth, so we have read it. And, you know, obviously, the department can get back with, Ask Me. So, is there anybody else that would like to make a public comment? Anybody else would like to make a public comment? Last time. Okay, can I get a, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Been
Support.
moved and supported. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. We are adjourned and thank you so very much.
Thanks, Ray.